We want you to walk away with tips this week on how to leverage traits of entrepreneurs that are going to help you increase your business, help you to keep going, find self confidence in yourself. And so we have covered John D. Rockefeller and Elon Musk. And yesterday, what did we do, Shankar?
Yesterday was Bezos, I believe.
Yes, yesterday we spoke of Jeff Bezos. And so today, by request, we're shifting gears into a different demographic, one that looks like me, and maybe you too. Woman of color, writer, producer, author, creative, and creator. She's an amazing human being who has broken the status quo, has gone beyond the traditional ways of tapping into an industry and then totally dominating in her field. She's been on HBO through her she actually started with a web series on YouTube called Awkward Black Girl and then went on to progress to HBO's Insecure. Also, what we want you to do after listening to this room is not just walk away feeling better. We want you to practice these things that you learn. So, again, how to leverage some of these traits or how to be more mindful in your day for balance, because that's really important. And also in showing up online, because above all, we want your business to grow. And that only happens when you grow, but you have to apply everything you have learned to your business, and showing up is a big part of that. But how do you do it? How do you do it in a non-salesy way? How do you do it that's in a way that's authentic and true to you? You will learn all of those things. I really encourage you to go to YouGrow, YOUGROW, YouGrow.club. You'll get all the updates and you'll know everything that's happening from here until then. So if you're ready, we can talk about one of my sheroes, I put it. And I'm just going to start with an introduction. Issa Rae talks about mentorship and inclusion on Good Morning America, and the way they introduce her, I think, is fabulous, and I would love for you to listen.
It is often said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. No one knows that better than this amazing soul that you're about to see that's sitting next to us, who is also a boss on so many levels.
Forbes named her one of their top 30 under 30, and since then she has exploded as a powerhouse in the entertainment industry. Joining us to discuss her role as an entrepreneur and a mentor. Welcome, the always fabulous.
Hey, we'll let either of us start because we're fanning out of here.
Your breath over here. Let's talk about mentorship though, because this is something that's really cool about you. You believe very deeply in mentorship as being something important.
I do. I came up not really having many mentors, like in terms of a blueprint for what I wanted to do. And I found that a lot of my peers became my mentors, my network of people. And since then, it's been about coming up together. And now that I've found some success in my industry, then it's now about trying to open the doors for others to be able to follow in the path and provide a blueprint in some way.
Is there one person that you can point to who has influenced you or has encouraged you to keep going when it comes to mentoring?
I have to say Larry Wilmore was the first person who I realized was an actual mentor to me. And he really helped me to create the Insecure pilot and to find my voice as a writer. And he's underrated in so many ways. He's helped Quinta with Abbott Elementary. He has such a long history with television. And then my second one would be the showrunner of Insecure's Prentice Penny. And I didn't know that I was being mentored at the time because I did view him as an older, much older. I joke that he's older, but he's not. But a peer of mine. But he's been so instrumental in my journey and just being patient. Because, with mentors, all you ask for is patience when you don't really know what you're doing. And he's been the picture of that.
Nice.
I've been watching you since medical school when I would use your YouTube videos as study breaks.
Wow.
My question to you is, you're a mentor to many of us out there. What advice do you have for those who might be watching and need some advice and some help?
Thank you for that, first of all. That's really dope. So you're crediting me for you becoming a doctor.
Basically. You were in highlight. That's
Yeah.
my graduation speech. I said, I'd like to thank you. And my mom and dad were like, what's going on?
Well, the advice I would give is I'm actually doing a program with Shipped with 4 Howard students who we selected, and they sought out this opportunity. But it's so important to seek out some opportunities that you may not have. But we gave them an opportunity to create a national commercial for Shipped, and we have provided mentorship. The CMO is providing mentorship for them. But it's really just looking for those kind of unsung opportunities. That's been essential for me. And also my biggest advice is just to tap into what makes you. I think sometimes we try to adapt too much, especially to corporate culture. And so much of who you are and what makes you unique matters to your journey.
You still need one in your professional career.
You absolutely do. For me, it's so hard, and to that point, for me to ask for help because it feels I should have it together. And school is long gone, and it's done.
And you're Issa Rae.
And Issa Rae, I struggle. So it's been such a journey for me to actually ask people. But one of the people that I realized was like in my new circle was like Diddy. And he's someone that I look up to just in terms of his business acumen, how he's been able to be himself and have a good time while being himself. And he was essential for me when I was actually trying to make some new hires and build my company. And I was like, oh, this is someone that I could actually just call and ask for information. And why did it take so long for me to do this? So I think it's important for us to recognize that it's an ongoing journey and you're always going to need help.
Okay, our control room is asking. They want to know your skincare.
My skincare.
Okay, so as much as I would love for you to know her skincare routine, I will move on. There's a couple of other clips that I think are pretty amazing as well. But what I think is neat is that when she's talking about who she models herself after, including Ellen and Oprah for being able to diversify her businesses and being a major influencer in that way, and Ellen for being able to make a business out of being herself. She mentions others for their business acumen and expanding beyond hip hop, and then looking to them in terms of making her own imprint. So you still have your mentors, and my mentors have told me, never stop looking for mentors, even though they are my mentors and people online, on social media, and even right here on LinkedIn, which is so important why you put yourself out there, because you never know who you're going to touch. You never know whose mentor you have become without even knowing it, and who is looking up to you to make their own way, to make their own imprint, which is again why I tell you, go to yougrow.club, become a part of this challenge to show up online, because you need to know how to do it. You need to have a set of mentors who are going to be able to tell you the ropes, show you the ropes and the pitfalls to avoid. And you always want to look to someone who's already done it. And so with Shanae and Shankar, you have that opportunity to do that. But yeah, she talks about how even from a young age, she said, my mom used to call me bossy. Only now do I realize that I wanted to be that. I wanted to be a boss because why the fuck not? I liked feeling like I was working or in business. I liked feeling like a leader. And it is not always fun by any means, but there's an element of accomplishment that I feel in executing projects. There's another clip I want to play where she is going into, let me just get it ready here. But I think there's just so much to learn. I'm going to have to scrub in for a moment, so pardon me for just one moment.
For me, it just became about the particularity, and then you get a group of people that you work with, and you understand and you appreciate their taste. And after a while, it's just about kind of making that work and finding the longevity in that from project to project. So I tend to have interest in a lot of different things, and I can't do everything.
Yeah.
But I trust and am fans of so many people to collaborate with, and that's how I make my moves.
So it's an Uber production company in some way, and a lot of it is about lack of control that a lot of artists have. And that's something you've talked about in a number of interviews, the wanting to do it a certain way and then not being able to, getting notes that you didn't like, depending on a variety of things. Let me take you back a little bit for people who don't know. You really started off in in digital media.
I did.
That's where you got noticed. First with
Awkward Black
Dorm.
Girl.
Well, before that, there was Dorm Stories.
Dorm Diaries.
Diaries.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And talk a little bit about this and why you moved into that, because that's where you got known from. I remember in 2011 when you.
Yeah. I mean, in college, I was trying to break into the industry. I had a writing partner and we submitted scripts to Sundance. We became semifinalists. We met with these executives in LA to try to sell a film. And during that time, it was very clear that there wasn't an audience for the work that we were trying to put on screen. At least that's what they were telling us.
No, there was an audience, they were telling
How
you.
did you feel when they told you that?
I was like, yes, the fuck there is.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know the audience. I know people.
Yeah.
And this is when I wanted to see, and that it just felt like a slap in the face to hear that when I know that's not true, that we were starving at the time. And I stopped out of school to go to New York Film Academy and just hone my skills. And then at the same time, social media was booming. Facebook had just released posted items, and I spent a lot of time on Facebook at the time. And you had this capacity to share videos. And I was directing plays and stuff in college, but the digital media part, like I would just play around online, and I was one of those people that added everybody on Facebook. I was like, oh, let me add everybody with my last name. Oh, let me add everybody who's Senegalese. I'm half Senegalese. And so I was building an online community. And so when I would post certain things, I noticed that there would be an audience and there would be engagement. And that idea to create a web series specifically for Facebook posted items, to share now, and YouTube, it struck me as an opportunity to amass an audience in a small way.
Mhm.
And then when I saw that it spread outside of my school, that was, I call it my epiphanous moment, where I was like, oh, okay, I can show people that there's an audience for the work that I want to create. And now it just comes down to the resources to make it.
And talk about the YouTube experience, because that's really, and then Hollywood noticed that.
Yeah, the YouTube experience. So my first web series was in 2007. The third web series that I would do was Awkward Black Girl in 2011.
Mhm.
And that was, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, my awkward Black boy.
Solidarity.
But that was the first time, like with my first two web series, there was an intention to try to get on TV, to try to get noticed.
So that's where you're using it as a vehicle.
I was like, okay, let's show that that people are interested in this show. And then even that, and trying to sell those television shows, I still got the same thing. With Dorm Diaries, it was college shows don't really work. With Fly Guys Present the F Word, it was a music-heavy show, and there were rappers who did comedy, and they were like, they got to pick a lane. And I was like, look, Flight of Conchords exists. Y'all not telling them to them. And then Awkward Black Girl, I was like, these other two shows were commercial. You had A Different World and Flight of Conchords, urban versions, and they don't want that. They're definitely not going to want a show called Awkward Black Girl. And so I was like, I'm making this specifically for the internet, for YouTube, and I'm going to be consistent. Oh, I wasn't consistent, but I'm going to focus my efforts on just making a show that is strictly for the internet and that is short and exists within this format. And that's when I got calls from...
And which you had control of.
That I was in control of. But yeah, it was really intimidating when you're getting what you want and people are watching and people are waiting for the next thing in a different way. It just felt bigger. And that was intimidating for me, where it was like, oh God, it's up to me. People are actually anticipating this, bless you, in a different way. And it wasn't until the second season when Pharrell picked us up and we had substantial funding to do it that I was like, okay, we're really onto something here. And I'm really monetizing this now.
Yeah. You told Variety that HBO, who you have a deal with, is, quote, Black Lady Central.
I said that about what?
About HBO.
I said it's Black Lady Central? That's a quote, direct quote from me?
From Variety. But I want to ask about that because, well, let's talk about it. You're there. Robin Thede is there. Michaela Cole is there. Nisha Green was there with Lovecraft Country.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
There is a critical mass
I like
of
that you talk
Black
out loud
women
what you're thinking.
who are given the space to make what they want. What do you think it is about HBO that makes it a space where you and those other women can be and feel like you're hopefully thriving? Because not every space is like that in the industry right now.
Yeah, I mean, I have to credit the team. For me, HBO has always had a reputation of being creator friendly. And specifically, there's just a space to create without the pressure of ratings. They've always been like,
Okay, so there's so much that she speaks about, but I want to go on one more time to her talking about disrupting the industry. And I think it's important because as entrepreneurs, you're going to look narcissistic to the outside world because you are so steadfast in what you believe in, your mission, and whatever product, service, or thing you are trying to bring to the world. But she didn't really care because she believed so much in what she was doing, and at a certain point even had something to prove, and there was an audience. So people are going to lie to you is another thing to take away. But let me go ahead and shift to that clip. And uh,
Yes. What?
so there is a because this is live, I can actually talk to you all. And there's a way to change the controls. And now I have changed them in a way where I can't really see exactly where I'm scrubbing in. So I'm going to just bear with me and should start about here.
Here, I don't have any money to keep making this. And she was just like, girl, sponsors aren't on there right now. They're not looking at content online. You have to do it the traditional way. And so that was disheartening to hear, but I kept on. That's all it's all I knew. It's the only access point that I had. So I kept on creating it. And then ultimately those opportunities did come. And if I hadn't gone through that door that I essentially made for myself, then I wouldn't be here talking to you today. In that sense, I definitely think that I disrupted a traditional model, and I hope that there's a blueprint moving forward for others to do the same thing.
So this blueprint that has turned out to be extremely successful for you. I know there are a lot of creators in the audience right now because this is the Advertising Marketing Creative Festival. May not have been able to find that energy and spirit, but what has been like that motivating factor for you that just makes you a disruptor? What does that look like and feel like for you?
It looks like I don't like waiting on people. I don't like being told no. I don't like when people find the ways that you can't do something. Like I don't want to be told all the ways that something can't happen. That actually just fuels something in me. And I just have I don't know, there's something in me that loves to prove people wrong. And although it's like silent, I don't like to brag, I don't like to do any of those things. But the moment that I feel doubted is like a slight to me. And it's just, oh, okay, you'll see. And that you'll see is a promise to myself that motivates me daily. And so if I have to find an alternate pathway to make something happen, then it's worth it. The petty spirit in me is just motivated to make it work.
We might have twin brains because I keep being told no all the time. I think even if I thought to take the traditional route of building a black beach at Cannes Lions, they would have said no, right? So I think in this disruptive spirit, and thank you for being an inspiration, just to say, you tell me no, I'm going to double down on them, but just keep going. Right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's sometimes necessary, and it also always it comes down to the belief of self too, because it is the easier path is to just be like, all right, no, let me just figure something else out, and let me just bounce back off of this. But you just have to have a resoluteness and a stubbornness. To be honest, my mom always said I was hard headed, and I prove her right every day.
Shout out to the hard headed women in the world, right? Absolutely. Are there people around you? Do you have hard head co-conspirators, folks who are just like your hard head board of directors, or just like, let's go, do it?
I definitely have hard headed people around me. I have extremely smart people around me. I love to be debated. I think it's so important to have those people who have their own opinions and who, when you can get too idealistic in some ways, can just bring you back down. And that's different from a no to me. People who are questioning, who are saying, this work, what about this? She's one of those people. I have a publicist in the front who's been one of those people. Sometimes Vanessa, I call her my Toby from The Office because every single time I have a super exciting idea, she's the one to be like, actually, and I'll be like, damn, you believe, but you need those people in your life. So thank
All right. Show of hearts if you have those people in your life that bring you back down to earth. Sometimes I am COO and I have to save my CEO and my founder from themselves. Sometimes it's our job. It is our job. But no, there's so much to learn and to glean from this. And I see that T, you are up here, so you have something to say. I'd also like to welcome Dr. Musa, if you are in a position to do, to come on the stage, because I think this conversation about disrupting, especially when you don't look like everybody or that else that's doing what you're doing in your space, or you don't want to continue down a traditional path, I think that's very important. But so much to learn. I got carried away with the time of these clips because I just love so much what she has to say about shattering the status quo. I love what she has to say about doing things different and where she gets her inspiration from. And how when you are doing different things, people will think you're crazy and you're egocentric and narcissistic just because they haven't seen it done that way before. And so they think you must have this godlike complex or something of that effect. T, go ahead, open your mic and speak, and then save a little bit of time for Dr. Musa, who has come up to the stage, and Shankar and Shanae, if you have something as well. But going to let you all share your opinion. And thank you for
Good.
being here.
Thank you, Andrea. Oh my God. I love Issa. Oh my God. I fell in love with her when I first saw Insecure. And then I saw her featured in Drake's video. For what? Now his video where he's featuring a bunch of powerful women, but I am so inspired by her and I love that you could just feel that she taps into what makes her. I love how she said it's important to just stay true to what makes you and just keep that at the center as you go through your day. And definitely love her points on mentorship. I totally believe that. And it's so nice to see someone in her position that looks like me. It's
Yes. Love
important
that.
that, I have many mentors that don't look like me, that look like the opposite demographic, and they're so inspiring. And I'm so grateful for all of them. But it's nice to see someone like Issa and be able to just watch her journey. I'm so inspired. So thank you so much for highlighting her today.
Absolutely. Love that. Dr. Musa, welcome.
Good morning. I've thoroughly enjoyed this talk and just being able to share our different perspectives. And for me, it's not really about self interest or narcissism. So I am a neurologist. I'm also co owner of the Kingdom Healing Institute and founded a nonprofit to deliver free and affordable health care to those that are in need. Me and my husband are both physicians. We had an employed position that was very stable, but we responded to a call, and we believe it was a call from God to really change the landscape of healthcare so that it's more equitable. It's not profit driven, but more driven by compassion and people's needing for healing. And a lot of people looked at us when we were leaving our jobs and rearranging our lives to make this dream a reality. And they were just like, that's insane. That's crazy. What's going on? Why would you give up all this security to pursue something and pioneer something that no one's ever really seen before? But I would say that because it was a response to a calling, I've seen so much transformation in my patients and also just people watching our journey from afar. It's made people more bold and also more courageous to step out in faith, not to really preoccupy themselves with what people are thinking about them or maybe any perceived judgments, but really just being staying true to yourself and your calling.
So, do people
So
think that you and your husband are egomaniacs or a little bit narcissistic at all?
maybe they think that we're a little into ourselves, but I like to always remember that we're not mind readers and you can't really discern a person's heart but you'll see the fruit of their actions. It may seem that way at first if people are coming for a more from a more judgmental perspective, but just looking at everything that we've done so far, all the people that have been positively affected, honestly, the fruit speaks for itself.
Thank you so much for that. Shankar, Shanae, I don't know if there's anything that you want to add. I believe that we need to continue to be bold. We need to continue to actually bring our unique gift to the world with a no excuses approach, which is what Issa Rae adopted. And if we get one tip, one takeaway from that, it's to just adopt this no excuses approach. Be very mindful about how you do it, but do share your creative, whatever your gift is, to the world. And we can do that by being consistent, by publishing even our content, by sharing our journey. I know you and your husband are doing a great job at that, Dr. Musa. I see you online a lot. And then before we close, I do want to again allow you to
Yeah, I
have
do
an
have a few words, Andrea.
okay. Go ahead, Shankar.
First of all, I think it is amazing that you and T has role models like Isa. Make me very happy. It's really super that is possible in today's environment. And
And I
I
brought
will
Issa
say,
into your life, didn't I?
oh, absolutely, you did. Brought so much knowledge about Black people into my life, so much knowledge about Black culture and Black excellence. Thank you so much. I think that you are on a similar path than she is. Granted, she is a few years ahead of you, but if you look at what you are doing here with this web series on LinkedIn, you are proving something as well, that there is a space for this format, and you have been incredibly consistent, and I know you will continue to doing so. Um, Also, really happy to hear from Dr. Adetun and see that people have motivation to share a message because they believe in something they see in the world. One last thought about mentors. They're really important to have, and it's really interesting the stubbornness sometimes that you need to find when you see something that your mentors don't believe in, right? I have recently come across that. I have ventured very heavily into cryptocurrency. I believe it is the world's future. And all my mentors are saying no, right? But I think that is important, though, to also know that, and I think Isa mentioned that as well. There's people who tell you no, but you do need to know when is there a point where you need to take the no, maybe to approach your journey with caution and be super analytical and do research 10 times more often than you would if they would back you. But that's definitely, I encourage everyone in this room to embrace the no's, but also be bold enough to ignore them at some level as well.
Thank you, Shankar. And you're right. I had cut off a little bit of the clip where Issa was talking about being creative, being going the non-traditional route, but she absolutely went into that space, even though she was told there's no audience, and she went further into depth about it, but she had to find an alternative pathway to make something happen that was worth it because she believed in it. And so it's good to have mentors, but it's also good to maintain your focus and continue to be a disruptor, um, no matter what that looks like for you. But as I was saying on your journey, and it's important because people will look to you to find out how you carved your own path, is to have your concrete goals, create them, but also publish your content, do it consistently, be online, be on LinkedIn, and it gets hard to learn to know how to do that. So follow Shanae and Shankar, go to the Grow Challenge that's on December 19th, show up every day for 4 days and ask yourself, like, how can I take all that I've learned from these sessions and mindfulness and apply it when I am presenting myself to the world and what I have to offer? There's such an intersection with this entrepreneurial journey we're on and your mindset and your attitude towards mindfulness. But thank you all for coming. Thank you so much, T and Dr. Musa, for coming on stage. We want to invite you back again to come to the room. They are every day, 7 a.m. Central Time. Monday, we may continue this series. We may change it, but DM me, let me know what you want. And definitely go to yougrow.club so you can sign up and be a part of that challenge. We start December 19th. Love to you all. Have a wonderful, mindful day and see you next time.